First, everyone, when learning to flick, a very important is that you need to lower your center of gravity. How do you lower it? You don't lower it while staying upright. For example, if I am right-handed, steps forward, then I need to lower my center of gravity onto my right foot. Ideally, you want to be able to see the net parallel to your line of sight. That kind of distance allows you to very easily gauge the ball, determining what kind of arc you need to create when you flick it out. Understand? If you don't crouch down when setting up like this and try to flick upwards, very difficult to flick. Moreover, your hand is making it hard to control. The visual perspective makes it difficult too. So the first point is that your body must be lowered down. When you look at the net like this and try to flick, firstly, you can feel that the ball is high. And looking at short balls this way makes them seem even higher. Like that, we might not be able to get your body as low as possible. And look at it that way. Then, the closer your hand is to your body, the easier it is to control. First, I'll bend down, You see, you can use body swaying to fake out your opponent. Along with this, you can flick using these. That's for later. Everyone, practice the basics first. Whenever the opponent serves to this half of the table, this area, as long as my foot can get there, I can flick it, I can flick it. It's very simple. It just requires sudden stroke to execute. So that's the first point. Lower your center of gravity. The second point, I want to tell everyone, when performing a push flick, you need to use your wrist. Your wrist moves along this arc, look. Moving forward and slightly outward along this arc. Right, it's a direct hit. Do not add any friction. Do not add a single bit of friction. Do you understand? Do not add any friction. Adding friction will have the opposite effect. It won't create an arc. And instead, it will compromise the speed of the ball. It's just hitting, striking it. Use your racket angle for pushing the ball to, perform a flip. You can't just flip directly. If you flip directly, you won't be able to exert force. We need to trace a bit of a right side arc. Use your body to trace a right side arc. The feeling is tracing this arc. Millimeters. To strike it. That's the second point. Trace the right side arc. Use the wrist position to trace the right side arc. Do not lift your elbow up. If you lift it up, you won't be able to flip anymore. Keep your elbow close to your body and bring your wrist down. You can use a hooking wrist motion. Look, cock your wrist back and then flick like this. We trace the right arc. Look, if I try to flick straight ahead with a normal racket angle, that's going straight forward. You won't be able to exert force that way. And you can't put power into the ball. Let me demonstrate for everyone. What happens if I go straight forward? You can't exert force that way. Can you understand? That stroke has no power. It has no power. When we flick, we need to cock the wrist more. This wrist part right here, see? Cock this part back more. Trace an arc. Don't add friction. It's a hit. Shift your body towards your right leg. Flick like this. You'll feel that your whole center of gravity is controlling the ball. Can everyone understand this feeling? Move like this in the form of a strike, tracing this arc. And then, this wrist is crucial. The racket angle is you. Can also use a push stroke to flick. That's fine too. As long as you get your center of gravity down. Don't movement do it upright, or you won't be able to flip. You won't have any power. And you won't have a reference standard. Get low, hit with the racket, angle, and move like this. This is a stroke process. This is a stroke process. That is, contact the ball smoothly, contact it smoothly. Then everyone, what controls the shaking of this wrist? This wrist position, look. This is where the wrist is most flexible, right? Right, you use it. Hey. Cock it back hard. Cock it back to its limit. Try it out. Look, cock it back hard to the limit, until the wrist has reached its limit. And then use that posture. Look at that posture to flick. This force, the power here gets locked and it's much easier to flick. If it's straight, look, if it's straight, my wrist here is loose and extremely floppy. It's extremely floppy. But when I cock it back and add my forward force, moving forward, this part is locked tight. Even with short many players using short pips on the backhand. Lock this part down completely. Why? Because if the wrist is too short pips, once it gets floppy, you can't control it. It's easy to control the wrist. Cocking the wrist back. Look, my wrist is already, it can't go back any further. In front of you guys. My racket angle is directly facing the ball. If you don't cock it back and try to flick this way, it has no power. It's empty. Once you cock it back, this part gets fixed in place. Look, this part, relatively, you can clearly feel this part is locked tight. Once it's locked tight, hey, when you use your wrist again, wobble. You can control it, hey, and it carries its own elastic power in the wrist. Then I'll tell you guys, the fourth point is when I flick, my whole body needs to move forward. It's not like I come up and flick in place. While flicking, my body needs to push forward. Look at this feeling over here. Here, my body needs to give a forward push to drive into the ball with the body. Then the hand adjusts the body must move forward. The right leg supports the ground and the body moves forward. Not like this. Look, flicking like this feels very empty. We need to go forward and up. Use the right leg to push forward. This way you can extend the ball contact time. Serve a neutral ball or a slightly side spin under spin ball. Still manageable. When I was little, sometimes I used to flick even side under spin balls upward. Look, Ma Long also frequently push flicks. Because when you flick this ball, the opponent cannot leverage any force. You just make a poking motion and suddenly flick. I don't really recommend penhold players to practice backhand banana When I do a horizontal flick, I use my thumb. I use my thumb to push against the ball. Look at the thumb pushing the ball. Understand, I use that to execute the movement. But what about penhold? You don't have a place to brace and hold power. Can you understand? If you try to flick like that, it's hard to put sudden explosive power into it. With shake I just flick with my thumb, one snap and it's done. Look, snap with the thumb and it's done. Penhold is relatively more difficult. Look, for a serve, penhold players usually, for example, push it along the rotation to push forward. For instance, against a side spin forward following the rotation. Don't flick it like that. Flicking it that way would be extremely taxing on the wrist. Push blockers can totally use this technique. I push it following the rotation. Right. Penhold short. Look, push. I follow its rotation. And since it's heavy, it's not going up. Jam it forward. Right. Jam along the rotation. Jam it along the rotation. And this is also less susceptible as long as it's a topspin biased ball. It's a commonly used shot as long as it's topspin. Push to their wide corner and they'll freeze, snap, and the push is a bit heavy, right? Right, because why do I dare to step around for this? Because he served a side spin, you leverage that rotation to push the ball forward. And since it's still side spin, goes to the backhand, it naturally follows the rotation. Backhand corner. Well then, switch to penhold. The push flick taught just now. Did everyone understand? First, second, center of gravity down. Back. Third, make good use of your body. Make good use of your body. Then when flicking with the wrist, do not add friction. Hit it and then do a flipping motion. Because some penhold have a stance that leans more to the side. So you can use your forehand to receive, following the rotation to receive, and remember to step back into position after This technique, although people from the previous era used it more, has practical value. For example, want to use your forehand to receive a serve, and find it suddenly a side and it's spin. In the backhand position. You might be too late to open up, so you can make a little room. Ball. Everyone remember, how is this ball flicked? Using your body. Look, we all hop a little bit. We all look. Hey, we hop a little, and combine the downward force with the upward force of the gravity rise. Can you understand? This uses my whole body when I hop. The force of my center of gravity dropping combines with the force of the ball bouncing up. The two forces merge. And then you smoothly follow the rotation too. Is it spinning this way? Push it out that way. Push it right out. You can open up your wrist a bit more, but once you make contact with the ball, keep your wrist relatively stable. Don't loosen it. Don't scatter it. Don't wobble. Keep it stable. Once you get used to flicking, you can add some body fakes. Fake. This way, shake them up. Right, first you must be a neutral to rising ball. Then you can receive it like this. Seeing it's a topspin ball, instantly make this motion. Then use your foot and body to rise up. Look, make a... Combine the force of your body rising and dropping down with the force of the ball's bounce. Merge forces with the center of gravity. Don't merge forces with your hand. What does the hand do? The hand smoothly goes forward, following your racket angle. Gliding forward and sideways, glide forward and sideways. Right, look, I won't add any fake moves. Just a natural flick upwards. Look, wrist open and locked, locked, all using the center of gravities. This force to flick. Then once you know how, you can add some shaking fakes. Let me add some shakes for you, Look, you cover the whole table. They won't know where to add a middle one too. Your whole body cramps up and they have no clue. Don't add friction. Hit it. After hitting, glide smoothly outward. Use your center of gravity to glide the ball out. It's not glided by the hand. If I glide it with my hand, the ball becomes mushy. If I combine my center of gravity with the forces, the ball is quite fast. Look forward. And then the wrist and forearm, once they push against the ball, cannot wobble up. Right, you can add consecutive changes later. Once you're proficient, you can add them. If not proficient, make good use of this downward force of the center of gravity, millimeters. This downward force merges with the ball's upward bounce. It connects. Then push it out, mm. Pen holder's even easier to flick. So you guys probably saw my others use it. Using a slanted stance to receive serves pen holders even easier to flick. Pen hold wrist action opens up wider than shake hand. Similarly, still utilize your center of gravity. Shake hand. You use this center of gravity to merge with the balls, upward, bounce, and then push forward with the center of gravity. Just with minor racket angle adjustments. First of all, when you come up, you need to ensure what? My wrist is relaxed, holding tension as I draw back the backswing. You must first learn what? First, learn to relax this backswing motion. Do it slowly. Wipe. Wipe and do it slowly. Let it return a bit slower, don't. That way you can't build up power. Store up power and slow down. Right. Store up power and slow down. Then let your body shift inward towards your belly. Shift inward. What does the body feel like? Also inward rotation. Inward rotation to make room for the ball. Look at my hand, everyone. This take a look at this. Is very crucial. Everyone must look closely. Look, when I loop flick, this hand, look, I'm feeling like the tip of the blade is almost pointing at my belly. So my wrist can fully rotate outward. What did you think? You think you flick like this? Flick with the forearm? The forearm can't lift it up at all. Many of you can't learn the backhand banana flick because the wrist won't pull back so you can pull it out. Look, actually, flicking is the ball, meaning you make a semicircular motion. You make a semicircular motion. Starting from here, from the 6 o'clock direction to the 12 o'clock direction, you treat this like a clock. In this direction, hey, you go along 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. You need to rotate it out. 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. You just do it like this. The ball. Where is the ball? The ball is in the 8 o'clock direction. 4, 8, 9, 9, 9. The ball is in the 8 or 9 o'clock direction. That is your baseline contact point.